because when they have fundings, we get a piece of that pie. Because when I brought them on as our engineers, the other engineers were just sat. That's what we were talking about, and we missed those fundings. When I brought Robinson engineers on, they just upped the beat and we started getting things done. There's also a CBDG grant. I sit on that advisory committee as well, and representing this board and this village. And that's how we were getting a lot more fundings. And the other one we have right now, it's pending for 2018, it's $1 million that I've been sending on. I don't know why. Did you send that letter out to the other engineers? Did you get that letter?
The letter's in draft, and it'll be emailed to you within the next day or so. Thank
you. That's $1 million that we're pending for 2018 for the Cicero project. So hopefully we can get that one. Originally, it was sad for me to hear that some residents thought Governor Steen did that. That was us. That's the University Park, and there was the contributions we got was from South Suburban Mayor Managers, IDOT, ITEP, and Will County, and the last funding, we were supposed to get 20%, we talked to them, and RTA gave us that. So it was no cost to the village at all, so we're grateful to God for those blessings.
Oh, so, real quick, Mayor, just on that note, as far as the funding for Stage 3, for what you see completed, Will County Highway Department never, and I mean never, this was the first time that they contributed to a local project. Will County pretty much deals with regional projects, and we talked them into, helping the village, helping them out with the match to the tune of $400,000 for this project. So that's unprecedented, it's never happened before. And actually, the chief engineer was just stunned because he was basically just beside himself because, again, they never fund local projects. But because of the regional significance of the University Parkway project, between us and Governor State and everyone else, they stepped forward, and now we have the IGA agreement, intergovernmental agreement that's in place that will be part of the funding process for this. So again, this was as the mayor mentioned, this is a Village of University Park project, 100% from start to finish. And we do intend to finish the final phase, which is that intersection at Governor's Highway. We're still going to work on that. And again, hopefully, once this budget mess is fixed, we will push that. That is #1 priority for us to finish this third and last phase. And we want to strike on the iron's hot.
And also, I want to thank you for working with come here with Gary, Robinson Engineers, come with Gary, to go through the village. Because I was out taking pictures on Omonee Road, and it's absolutely terrible. Not to mention the other streets within it. So I got out on Saturday and took pictures, and now I said we need to divvy some of these projects rather than have them on other big projects, to take the money and see if we can budget it to do the roads within the village rather than the other big projects. So he did an analysis for us and gave us what we need to do and how much money that would cost. So we're working on that. And I do know Gary had bought the machine, as Ms. Franklin said. He did buy the machine. I don't know what process or what the plan is to do that. I guess Ms. India will get with him on the process and planning on filling the holes within the village, the machine that he purchased.
And Mayor, just to answer one of the residents' statements earlier regarding some of the residential streets, we've done an additional analysis since that time. I think it was another half a dozen roadways, and you're correct, they're in very bad shape. Some of them are very close to needing complete reconstruction. And basically, what we've done is we compiled an assessment of all of them, and I will forward that to the village manager and to the public works director. Our inspector went out, took a look at them, and it does cost. And so hopefully, once things get settled with the budget and so on and so forth, we can start addressing some of these street issues too as well. We have completed the analysis, and we have the approximate dollar cost for those. So hopefully that'll help in the budgetary process when we want to get to that point.
Thank you very much. Appreciate you. Okay, now we will go. Thank you so much. Now we will go to the question and answer session with the village manager. Anyone that has questions for our village manager at this time, please respect and do orderly and timely and raise your hand, and we will recognize you for any questions and answers that you might have for her. Please. Anyone has any questions and answers for our village manager? Anything, since there's so much out there, and we want to make it right. Okay? Oh, I'm sorry. And Mr. Floyd?
I don't know if she can answer the question. She answered it earlier, I think, about the daycare that Ms. Mtg was going to handle it or something. But I did forget to address the daycare problems too, with about the concerns of this website, the Nextdoor, whatever it is. And then they went out, some people went out texting and calling that my daughter's information. How they got it, I don't know, but they had the whole list of all the kids in the daycare, called all the parents, and talked to all the parents, leaving all these messages on their phone, telling them to come to this board meeting tonight and address the issue of the daycare. And I found that was appalling. The person who called my daughter several times leaving messages, her name is Mildred Morgan and Mrs. Bell. I don't know who they are, but my daughter, I heard the message, and they kept stating for them to come to this meeting to address the daycare issue. And my daughter don't have a problem with the daycare. My granddaughter loves this daycare. There's no problem here. Well, there's a certain situation that came up, you know, so I understand that. So they're going to do what they can on Wednesday.
Mildred Morgan.
Mildred Morgan and Miss Bell left several messages on my daughter's phone concerning this daycare and come to this board meeting.
Okay, thank you. I would like to, I'm sorry, would you like to address it?
Yeah, I would like to respond to that more broadly. There is an existing issue that at least I've observed with regard to social media usage and information, whether confidential information or otherwise, that seems to be an issue, as well as a culture of leaking information that has, quite frankly, put a lot of things at risk. It was explained to me or expressed to me that somehow individuals received access to what is actually proprietary information that is not to be shared for any reason. And in fact, if that information is shared, there are legal implications for that. I think that needs to be made very clear because that information concerned parents and children who are part of the daycare. Once the decision was made for how we were going to proceed with the day camp, we had an entire plan and strategy in place to inform parents through the letter, through the phone call, through an official meeting with parents of those children. And so part of what needs to be conveyed to the village is that this culture of sharing information that's proprietary is quite dangerous. If that information gets into the wrong hands and someone is calling parents, you don't know what their agenda is. They could call those same individuals a year from now, and it could be dangerous. And so we really need to reassess how information is shared in the village, the veracity and truth of that information, as well as what I'm doing on my side, as far as putting policies in place that guide social media, that guide information, privacy information that comes from the village. We actually have to put policies in place because what I've seen in my brief time here is quite alarming. And for parents who have children in the day camp, no one wants to know that information that they submit will be shared with residents for any reason. So I just wanted to make that clear. Thank you for bringing that to our attention.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. This question is directed to the village manager. I blog or post very heavily on Nextdoor. Gina Williams and I and a number of other residents. There is a lot of lies being floated around. Some are floated in tonight and some are floated on Nextdoor. Two of the lies that were going out about you, I would like for you to clarify. The first lie is that you do not have, and it was put out by Mildred Morgan, that you do not have a law degree, and there was no law degree found for you in the state of Illinois. I have taken screenshots of it, and I either will or have forwarded to you already. So that's question number one. Do you in fact have a law degree?
Yes, I have a law degree from the University of Illinois at Urbana. My areas of specialty are in contracts negotiations as well as international law.
Question number two. there has been the rumor floated that you are claiming to be a lawyer and that in fact you are not. I defended you and said, no, she's not a lawyer. She has a law degree, but she did not pass the bar. Would you please answer that question as well? Are you or are you not a lawyer that has passed the bar?
So I am a lawyer in title. I do not practice litigation. I have not practiced as a litigator, and I never have claimed to do so. But I am a lawyer. I do have a law degree. I have my background specialties and a legal background. As far as actually handling cases, that is not my area. That is why we have a village attorney that handles a lot of the litigation that takes place in the courtroom.
Thank you for your time and your answers. Thank you.
Thank you. Any others? Yes.
This isn't a question, but I just want to say tonight, after I finished talking, David Savier walked over to me and threatened me. I don't appreciate it. He's going to tell me I don't know him and keep his name out my mouth. I don't know Donald Trump, but I talk about him 24/7. Who are you that I can't talk about? So I just wanted, I told Commander Wilson, I want it on record that he came over and made that threat to me, and I don't appreciate it.
Village manager, I just want to address your salary again, because it's so a lot of misconception of what you make and what you offer or whatever. Can you address what your salary is?
So as of now, and thank you for your question, I do not have an agreement with the village. A number was proposed, but I think it should be clarified that that number does not include any benefits or anything. Actually, compensation that includes not only salary, but it includes benefits and other perks, if you will, none of which I am receiving. There was a starting amount that I had proposed in our first initial meeting, and I was asked to negotiate that and bring it down, which I did, to the tune of several $1,000s. We were supposed to have this discussion within the confines of executive session, but prior to that, the information was released to the public. But again, the salary amount that's being discussed, it's also done on a 6-month basis, and that is because there's an opportunity to negotiate a lower amount, but it also prevents liability on the part of the village for having to go through a very disruptive process if things aren't working out. So it actually gives the village more flexibility to make sure that they're getting what they need in a village manager. And so I did all of those things prior to, well now, I still don't have an agreement, but I did all those things at the forefront. But I think it has to be noted that again, compensation package, if you include healthcare, benefits and such, would add $80,000, $90,000 more dollars that I have actually foregone to take just a basic salary amount of which I would be taking care of my own taxes and whatnot. Those are the things that I did as an effort to negotiate what is a very significant workload. A lot of people are talking about the state of the village, how broke the village is, and how the problems exist. Well, you have to have competent people who can fix the problems. We can talk about the existing problems all day, but until you have people that are qualified with the trustees and with the village manager, you're not going to fix any problems. And right now, the reputation that the village has to attract the kind of talent that is necessary, it will be exceedingly difficult. It's in part because I grew up here that I am here, because I have more than just a money interest. I have no money interest, quite frankly. This is on principle, because you pay people what they deserve.
Right.
And so my being vested here is because I grew up here, because I still have a lot of people that I know here that deserve the kind of leadership that would manifest in a village that is functional.
Again, I also said that too, because you have a PhD, I have a master's. I work for the state of Illinois. And you are underpaid for your property. I know that as a worker and a master's degree. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Amari, for this time to address you. When I did a salary check, And again, the information that I got was information from someone. So I didn't have any factual information. So my question to you, is that salary of $140,000 correct?
So it's not accurate, actually. The way that we had it in the agreement was looking at a 6-month time frame with the option to negotiate a lower rate at that point. So it actually could be lower than what was stated.
Okay. And the other information that I received, and you don't know that it is factual either, was that salary was for a 2-day work week.
That's incorrect.
So my question to you then, would you be a full-time village manager?
Yeah, that information is completely
I mean,
incorrect.
like Monday through Friday, 9 to 5?
Yeah, it's not a 2-day work week. It is with all of the responsibilities of any village manager. I'm not aware that any previous village manager had a 2-day work week.
Okay. And again, when I did my fact finding for the median village manager salary, a village manager was earning an average salary of $60,000. But given your qualifications, I would have no problem paying you $140,000. My concern is that the village does not have that money to pay that kind of salary. And so given the state of our village, I have to be repetitive here, and the financial challenges, I just don't see how we could afford that type of salary. And that is the thing that I asked the trustees to consider. And the other thing that I wanted to ask is, having lived here and grown up here, of course, when you were here, the poverty rate wasn't as it is today. And so what is it that you would actually do in the village to bring about some change in the quiet enjoyment of our village, for the taxpayers to get some level of comfort, if I could say, that when we look at other villages that really have, things that they can enjoy in the village. They can go to a strip mall and actually go shopping. We go to the strip mall to get a piece of chicken or get a haircut, but we don't really have the enjoyment of this village. And I have really not seen a village manager that we've had to really bring anything to our village. And they didn't, get that type of salary. So I'm very concerned with that as well.
Thank you. As far as the average village manager salary, I have to defer to the board, who has the actual numbers for my predecessors, which I think was significantly higher than the number that you quoted. So I'll let them speak to that. And then the other question, or the other point with regard to the affordability, again, I have to defer to those actual numbers from the board who has that.
Yeah, for your information, when Lafayette Lanier was the village manager, I believe his salary was about $120,000. When Bola came on board, her salary was $107,000. And then when Jonna Townsend came in as the acting village manager, her initial salaries was the same as Bola's. And when she realized the crisis and asked for cuts from all of the staff, except for the unions, obviously, because they were contractually bound, her salary was then reduced to $85,000 with 3 months being non-paid. So hers was a lot less than the 85,000. You know, it's about 25%. So that would be what the actual numbers were.
Okay, and so when I did my fact finding, Amaria, one of the things that I found out was that some of the larger villages, those mayors were making 200,000, and you know, they were even in the news for making you know, such large salaries. But when you go to Rosemont, you get the enjoyment of Rosemont. When you come to University Park, it's not that same enjoyment. And so that is what I'm asking the trustees to consider. No one has a right to bring any attacks against you for your educational endeavors. You're accomplished. I appreciate that. I'm glad that I know you. And so, again, I don't think it has anything to do with whether you're qualified. I think you're well and above qualified. I'm looking at the challenges that our village faces.
I will speak to that. Okay.
Well, I definitely appreciate the sentiment. I think it might sound somehow, but part of what's necessary for us to move forward is having a vision. Not a vision of what we currently have, but a vision of what things could be. And when we're operating in a village that has so many challenges, I mean, you hear it in the comments, everyone talks about the finances, we're broke, and I believe that you speak those things also, and they have a certain power. But in the leadership, I think it's the responsibility of leadership to convey a vision for the village that we want, in spite of what it looks like today, because that's what you build. If we convey a vision of a town center that is thriving, of parks that we can enjoy, of all the things that exist in other villages, that's the blueprint for what we can create. It doesn't mean that the challenges that we have will be any easier. It just means that we have to double down in our efforts to collectively address those challenges with a focus on moving forward. And so I would just say that as this new board embarks on the significant challenges that and issues, they're going to have to make some very difficult decisions. But if we have no vision, there's nowhere else for us to go. And that vision has to be conveyed to the public and galvanizes people. Because only in us being collectively enthusiastic about the village that we want, will we have the wherewithal to address the challenges that are before us. And that's what I believe, and that's what I offer. It's not just managing. Anyone can manage a sinking ship. You can manage till the ship sinks. But if you have a vision, then you build that life raft. That's what we need. We need visionary leadership while we manage the current challenges that we have.
We're going to, I'm sorry. And I would like to say, please, also, thank you very much, Ms. Lawson.
I'm not sure what other, Ms. Lawson, I'm not sure what other village managers make. However, our last actual village manager in 2016 made $124,000. That's not including the 4.25% for benefit for IMRF. That's not including the 6.2% Social Security, nor the 1.45% Medicaid. When you add all those numbers up, that gives you a total of $138,857. You divide that per month, that's $11,500 for our last. Now I know it was stated that her predecessor, made $85,000, but we do not have documentation. I apologize. I do not have documentation. Maybe it was shared with some previous board members. I don't have documentation showing that her predecessor made $85,000. And until we get that documentation from, once our finances are cleared up, we won't know how much that person made. The person prior to that made $138,000. So yes, her 6 months at her original price was steep and she was willing to negotiate, but we never sat down and negotiated before the rumors hit the street. It's time for a new beginning. We keep going back and forth about what we paid somebody. The newly elected trustees all ran on it's time for a change. It's time to do something different. Because as Ms. Inya has mentioned, and I believe David Savier has mentioned, this might be our last chance. So why not go down with a fight instead of doing the same old, based on the same old. 138,000 or 144,000 with somebody who has experience and knows what she's doing. Because if we get somebody with the same experience as the previous person, or if we do the status quo, we bring in our friends, we're gonna have a problem. 140,000 or 138,000. It's time for a change, people.
Yes, sir. I'm sorry, trustee.
Yeah, Trustee Wilson, I'm not sure where you got your information from, but there is an ordinance that we have that established the reduction in salary from $107,000 to $85,000, and it's also in the budget, which I have a copy of here if you'd like to see it. In the 2016 budget. The number that you may be looking at was the manager's office at that time, which included an assistant, which was laid off also. But the clerk can verify this, that the salary for Jonna Townsend was $85,000, and she voluntarily forgave 3 months that 3 months would not be paid. So those are the facts. You can do a little. I think you just need to do a little bit more research. I don't know exactly what you're looking at, but I'd sure like to see it.
I just want, here you go. I'll give you a copy. I'm looking at the document that we got filed December 27, 2016 at 12:18 p.m. It's sent to Nancy Schultz Boots, County Clerk, Will County, Illinois. I'll give you a copy, Trustee.
You want to say something? Okay, and she's going to come, Ms. Kim first, and then Ms. Wayne. Ms. Kim?
I'd like to know how many days did Ms. Jonna Thompson work per week? No, how many days did she work? It was two. How do you know it was two?
She worked.
Actually.
Oh.
Ms. Thompson is gone.
Right.
Ms. Thompson is gone.
No, they were talking about salaries. So, do you know how many days did she work?
I would have to defer to the board on that. I had been years.
Would you ask one of them?
Would you like me to respond?
Yes.
She worked 5 and 6 days a week.
Oh, really?
Yes. And I know that because I've spoken to her on issues regarding the village on the weekends. Now, if you let me finish,
Okay.
respectfully, so do we ever remember?
And respecting you.
Okay, well, I am respecting you. I'm just asking you to let me finish what I had to say.
Okay.
Because I know there's a misconception out there that she didn't, and I explained this the last board meeting, that she was taking days off during the week. Her agreement with the board, and again, Trustee Wilson, you can check the ordinance, was that she would get 2 Mondays off a month because both of her parents were terminally ill and they lived in Oklahoma. So the board said, okay, you can take, so she can go and visit them every other week and come back on Tuesday morning. But while she was gone, she still took phone calls. I spoke with her when she was in the hospital with her dad, okay? I spoke with her on weekends when there was an issue that I didn't have time during the week. I hated to bother her, but if there was something I needed to know, I'd call her and ask her. So she did, and she worked a lot of evenings, because I know, because I attended a lot of those meetings that she attended also.
Private meetings?
No.
The whole board? Right.
No, the finance.
Y'all working? Y'all supposed to work as a board. Was it
Fine.
private or just with you?
Well, I'm going to, just let me, I can address this. I can say that I don't know about her dad, because her dad was here to meet him. So I don't know how sick he was, but I did meet him here at the board meeting. And I understood that, but like I said, she had resigned before, because she said she had those issues about her parents. And I understand that fully. However, when she was offered the village manager, I don't know what happened and she came back. But she had resigned before she became the village manager. And then after they offered her the village manager's position, she came back. So, Ms. Kim, and I couldn't keep up with her schedule. Because the village hall was on. Ms. Kim, can we let Ms. Kim speak? She's been trying. Kim, come on, please. Out of respect, and we're gonna have to cut it off after these three, okay? Well, whatever. Stand up, please, and let us know who's interested in speaking. Go ahead. Hello.
Good evening. This is the very first time I've ever came to the podium to try to speak, voice an opinion, and I thank you for allowing me to do so. I thank you for allowing me to do so. Good evening.
Good evening.
I do have a question for Trustee Taylor. You stated that she was making,
Q&A.
pardon me?
Yes, it's Q&A.
Trustee Taylor. I'm sorry.
Yeah. She can answer the question.
Oh, I'm sorry. You stated that the acting village manager was making $85,000 a year. Was that including vacation time,
Yes.
sick days,
Yes.
and all of that? Well, my concern is if you knew that she was coming to this acting village manager's position with many personal issues at home, and with the state that the village is in today, why was she considered? And I'm not saying that she should not have been considered based on her, I guess, experience being an assistant to Al McGowan. Why was she considered? That's what I would really like to know. Also, I am really concerned too with this, the extreme talk about the salaries. I say if she's given a chance, maybe you would probably appreciate what she can bring to the board, as you did with Ms. Townsend. And she came to the board with, unfortunately, very personal problems concerning her parents, and which we all would probably have empathy for that. But with the village being in the state that it was in, please explain to me why she was considered. And I really do not want to leave feeling, as I've always felt, that it was based on politics. Also, I've heard a lot of people, and also read that Trustee Brown, you did explain the night that the residence was very concerned about you leaving and blowing a kiss. That was an unprofessional kiss, and you was voted in to be one of the trustees of University Park. Would you please explain to us, do you have any sorrow for doing that? This is not personal. It's just, I would love to know, because I've respected each and every one of you since I've been coming